Welcome to Mot Money. I'm your host, Luis Acevedo, and today we have a new co-host, James Niner. What's going on, James?
Not much. How's it going, Louise? Thanks for letting me join the crew.
Yeah, of course, of course. For those that are joining in on the Mot Money channel on TikTok, what's going on, guys? This is the first time we're going live for the Mot Money. Thanks for tuning in. We cover everything crypto and stocks. Going to get a lot of education today. It's going to be a lot of fun. I am Luis Acevedo, the founder of Mot Media, and this is a division of Mot Media where we focus specifically on crypto and stocks, all things money. Today we got some pretty interesting topics we want to talk about, um, and we're bringing on a new co-host because our old co-host we have parted ways, and it is the start of something new, hopefully something better. And I am looking much forward to our conversation today, James. So, to start things off with, I'm not sure if anybody has heard, but AMC has recently made it so they will accept Doge and Shiba Inu on their mobile payment app. So that's pretty crazy right there, James. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Um, all this is going to do is help bolster the value of crypto coins. The more places that accept it, the better off for crypto.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also, I think, a marketing tool for AMC because they are labeled now a meme stock. And so, what better way than to partner up, if you will, with meme coins? It's perfect branding. And I think it's going to definitely help crypto in the long run because it's just giving more adoption. For a long time, it was only Bitcoin that was accepted at places. Now we have a variety of coins that are being accepted in multiple locations. And that to me is a really good sign that the crypto market is growing very, very strong. And we're only going to see more adoption, I believe, in a bunch of other sectors. And it's going to be a very interesting thing, especially as time goes on. And this is why I tell everybody, you know, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, the main focus should be in crypto because there's not an asset out there that has performed the way that cryptocurrencies have performed in the history of mankind. And so when we're living in times like we're living in now, where we have this near, I don't want to call it hyperinflation because we have a long ways to go, but it is pretty decent inflation taking place. And really, in your traditional market, it's kind of hard to find those places where you can outpace inflation. But with crypto, it's not so hard. And with this move that AMC has made, I think is just going to increase the adoption across the board and
Yeah,
help probably people out too.
yeah. Um, but the AMC they also they they're called a meme coin, and they obviously are a meme stock, and they obviously accept that they're being called that because they're buying or they are letting accepting meme coins. Um, Not only that, I read up that they created their own NFTs. One
Mhm.
after Spider-Man and one after Batman, which I believe is supposed to be coming out. I believe.
Yeah,
So those NFTs, I really don't get those. Um, but AMC, they're trying to extend the olive branch to the cryptocurrency community to help build that also.
100%. Yeah, and I guess to just elaborate on what an NFT is and explain it a little bit since you're not very familiar with them. So an NFT, for those who are unaware, it literally stands for non-fungible token. So theoretically, they are supposed to be you're not supposed to be able to reproduce them. They're supposed to be able to be unique and traceable with a certificate of authenticity, if you will. But it's on a blockchain. But to keep it in simpler terms, it's essentially a digital asset that you have custody of. And it is a new way to show social status, but also it is a way to innovate certain industries and bring them into the new Web3 economy. And a lot of people, as opposed to buying a piece of artwork that they hang up in their home, will probably be more inclined to buy an NFT and show it off in virtual reality, where there's these open rooms that anybody can join. So this then allows for more people to see your digital assets. So that's essentially what it is. It's just a digital asset.
Yeah. Well, they've been accepting, AMC has been accepting Doge, only for their gift cards. So I believe today, starting today, they are letting it be available through the app for movie tickets, concessions, not only the Dogecoin but also Shiba Inu. So they're really trying to ramp it up, and
Yeah, they really are. And so we'll see how this does. I mean, the only criticism I have to this is that Shiba Inu and Dogecoin are typically known as pump and dumps, because once the bull market comes, they might shoot up a tremendous amount, right? Like you had Shiba Inu, some guy who invested, I think, $8,000 in Shiba Inu a summer or two ago made $3 billion this past summer. So insane gains that are just, as I said, insane. However, the drop is very hard. That's the other thing too. So we're messing with a speculative asset class. Dogecoin is going to drop in the bear market anywhere from 90 to 95%, as is Shiba Inu. But Bitcoin, which people think is a blue chip cryptocurrency, will drop 85% during a bear market historically. So this is just the nature of crypto. But I don't know.
So Bitcoin would be considered something like the Tesla of crypto, something that is sustainable and is not very volatile, not as volatile as something like Dogecoin. And I would compare that to a stock called Sundial. Last year, Sundial, they put out, some news. The stock ran up 300-400%, in a couple weeks. And then within a week, it went right back to where it was. It's very volatile.
Yeah. So what does that company do?
Sundial Growers actually grows marijuana, and they're based. I forget where they're based at, but they're trying to come to America once legislation for legalized marijuana is passed.
Gotcha. Nice. So they're probably still better than Doge, just because, maybe not in terms of gaining profit, but as far as what it is. Because something else that is also kind of, I guess, disappointing, and bringing multiple perspectives to the fact that AMC is now accepting, although they have been for a while, Doge and Shiba Inu. And so I guess another thing that you can say about Doge is that the creators of Doge are actually now anti-crypto in a big way. I'm sure that the founders of Sundial are not anti-cannabis. They're not trying to destroy their own industry. So
no. But the person who made Doge is mad because he probably sold off all of his rights to that, and now he sees what's going on with it. Yeah, I seen multiple articles last year him saying that he created Doge as a joke with his buddies, and now to see it blow up the way that it is now, that would kind of make me a little bit jealous too. But that's also on him because he didn't believe in his product.
Right.
So.
Right. Exactly. I mean, that's a good point, because Dogecoin was simply created as a joke, and it was supposed to be a parody of Bitcoin. So But yeah, I mean, there's some other stuff going on in the crypto world too. So that's what's going on with AMC. And the other thing that we're going to cover really quick has to do with the SEC and what the SEC is attempting to do with exchanges that would have a negative impact on the crypto market. And that is to essentially try and regulate communication protocols. And communication protocols are essentially software. So anything that is a code that's written to do something can be considered a communication protocol. And since it is a form of speech, then it would then be violating, so the people at Coin Center say, the First Amendment. And that is going to bring some issues because you're going to kind of have to eliminate the decentralized financial aspect of crypto and the anonymity of crypto as well if you're going to have to start regulating these markets. Because how are you going to track individuals that are just linked to numbers when you don't know who they are? Because anybody can own that wallet and you can see their public address, but you can't link that back to who they actually are. So it's a form of regulating speech, which they're saying would be a violation of the Constitution.
Yeah, and Coin Center, who is a big advocate for crypto, based out of Washington, they're pretty much telling the SEC not even to waste their time, and they said they cite a 1985 Supreme Court case where the SEC was sued for trying to stop people from publishing newsletters with stock tips in them.
I didn't know that.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they can stop, how they could regulate that, and like they do the stock market. This is more along the lines of peer-to-peer trading, as opposed to a third party. Accumulating your shares that you're buying, and doing what they want with it. I think that's the biggest thing, is that they just don't like the freedom that it gives us to trade back and forth the way that we do. And, the costs are, to trade are not as high as the regular stock market. And once again, the institutions got to make their money.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing here, is simply doing away with the middleman. At least it's trying to. But I have always brought to the table a different perspective when it comes to this. I don't think that the middleman is going anywhere in crypto. I actually think that the middleman is only going to get stronger in crypto as we see it evolve, because crypto exchanges are now becoming new banks, essentially. And so Coinbase, Binance, Kraken, these places, you can hold your money on there, you can do trades on there, but you actually don't hold anything because it's in a custodial environment, meaning that Coinbase, Binance, the owners and operators of that actually have more control over your money, your coins, than you do, which is why it's very important, if you really want to have a sense of ownership, is to put the coins into a non-custodial wallet. I use MetaMask. There's a couple other ones out there, but personally, I think MetaMask is the best one. But anyway, there are always going to be middlemen. And I think the reason there's always going to be middlemen is simply because people want somebody to fall back on. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. So I think we're going to see regulations increase with crypto, and we're going to see it mature. And we are simply, I think, trying to aim for more stability, because there's been a lot of people who have lost a lot of money. Not only that, but it was referring to the volatility. But not only that, but to the fact that there are scammers out there, and it's hard to track those scammers, and you don't know their identities. I mean, you can go look on like Decrypt or Cointelegram and find some stories of huge crypto platforms getting hacked for $600 million, $500 million, $400 million. A lot of people have their money in there, have all their money in crypto. And they are, if they're involved in a project or a product that isn't built proper, isn't audited, or there's no insurance like you have at your bank. If somebody comes in and robs the bank for all of its money, or the bank goes under, you still have your insurance of up to $250,000. There's nothing like that in crypto. So what we're seeing right now is the attempt to rein in on the chaos, which isn't necessarily a bad thing in my opinion, but this right here is going to lead to, it's how negotiations work, right? So you say, hey, all right, I'll take that for, I'll trade you my Honda Civic for your Ferrari. And obviously you're like, there's no way that's happening. No way somebody's going to trade their Ferrari for a Honda Civic. But you may end up getting, who knows, their bike. I don't know, right? So like you're just working your way to negotiate and meet somewhere in the middle. So I think that's what we're beginning to see here is the foundations of actual negotiation between lawyers in crypto and the government.
Okay, so you're saying you believe that the regulation will help out the consumer?
100%. I don't think regulations are bad. I think that regulations are needed if you want to live in a coherent society.
Yeah, I can see that. It would make the coins a little bit more stable. But at first, if that passes at first, crypto is going to crash more than likely.
100%, because there's going to be panic. And then there's going to be an opportunity for those who are more aware of the situation to take advantage of it.
I can see that. And I'm not too familiar with all the blockchains and stuff like that. I know what crypto is and I understand the workings of it. And I do believe that crypto is the future of our currency. It's more, how would you say, personalized, I guess.
100%. And they're already trying to make central bank digital currency. I know there's a couple different propositions in the House currently regarding that specific issue. Some want people to be able to use the central bank digital currency. Others say they don't want individuals to be able to use it or the central banks to be able to sell it directly to them because it'll then create this mass surveillance state. So there's even negotiations on how a digital currency is going to operate in the United States. But this is something that I like to tell people that, we already have a digital currency. That's nothing new.
Yeah, I was going to say that I've seen something in the crypto market called USD, which I believe is the US dollar, and that coin really only stays around $1. It might go up a couple cents, it might go down a couple cents, but there is a coin out there that is stable like the United States dollar.
Yeah, there's actually quite a few stable coins out there. There's DAI, there's Tether, there's USDC. There might be a couple others that I'm unaware of at the moment that I'm not thinking of. But yeah, there are a few stable coins out there. And the way the stable coins work is they're typically pegged to something. Now, I think that the stable coin that will be universal, that people are going to use, are going to be pegged to multiple currencies, not just the US dollar. But I think that the US is going to want to stay at the top in that regard. And so they're probably going to be the lion's share of the basket of currencies that will be pegged to the universal stablecoin. But it's going to be a competition between, I think, US, China, and probably India as to who has the most influence in that basket of currencies.
Yeah. Well, what about how China, didn't they make trading crypto illegal over there?
I believe that they banned the mining of Bitcoin, and I think that you are right that they tried to prevent some trading of cryptocurrencies, but they didn't make it illegal to hold any of the assets. So you can still use them as investment vehicles. But as far as the trading goes, I guess they're trying to do away with it, which I get. I mean, I've also had this unorthodox view when it comes to China in what they're doing with their currency. I actually say that countries who are attempting to regulate cryptocurrency are trying to preserve their sovereignty because when you have your nation, you need a form of currency to also represent that nation to do trades, to establish that you are who you are in a global economy. But then if you do away with that and have a third party coin, even if it's decentralized, then you start to lose your sovereignty. And so I think that's where we get into the issue of globalism. So this is where I think a lot of libertarians get lost in cryptocurrency is they want to dissolve these fiat currencies, but they fail to realize that the absolution of these fiat currencies will result in the nation state dissolving as well. And so I think China is just simply trying to preserve it, and they're being ahead of the curve on this. The United States is not doing anything different. So we can complain and be worried about the fact that we're going to enter in a surveillance state. Yet we have to, in my opinion, realize I don't think that you're never not in a surveillance state, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think
everything around you. Yeah. Everything around you is watching you now. So.
Yeah. Well, there's that. I mean, we can talk about the material plane, but if we want to go a little bit deeper, I would say on a metaphysical level, your actions are surveilled as well, constantly on a metaphysical, spiritual level. I think that humanity itself has a natural blockchain that is the history of mankind. Is our blockchain, if you will. It's a ledger. It's our ancestors, our personal ledger, our personal receipts that we exist and that there was history before us. And that our children are new blocks that we mine. So I think that we already are on this, if you will, God's blockchain. So we already live in a surveillance world. We already are on a universal humanity level blockchain. That's getting a little deep here. But I'm bringing that up because a lot of people worry about the surveillance. We in my opinion, already live one and always will live. So, but to touch on something else here. So now we're going to switch it over from the crypto stuff. We're going to talk a little bit more about stocks, what's going on in the traditional markets. So James, if you want to go over what's going on in the traditional markets.
Yeah, well, everybody has heard that Elon Musk is trying to buy Twitter. This is kind of confusing because Elon Musk, he's weird. He buys 9% of the company, and he says that he's going to become part of the board of directors, and then 2 weeks later he tweets out that he has no confidence in Twitter's management team. That makes no sense. He offered to buy Twitter for $43 billion, which equals $54.20 a share. Right now, it's sitting at $45.08 a share. The biggest thing is the CEO of Twitter came out and said that they do not want to be owned by one single person. So yesterday, they introduced something called the poison pill, which what that does is not just Musk, but any company or any person that buys a 15% stake in the company, that's all they can buy. Then Twitter actually gives their other investors a chance to buy more of the corporation, to where they're not just owned by one person. They feel like it's the employees feel like it's a hostile takeover from Elon Musk.
Right, and you mentioned something earlier too, that you feel that the employees are concerned about Elon Musk taking over.
Yeah, they're concerned about Elon Musk taking over because they heard how big of a pain in the butt it can be to work for Elon Musk. And like you said, how do you become the richest person in the world?
Right.
It's not by, slacking off. It's, by being prompt.
Exactly. Okay, we got a comment in here that says, how long until Tesla makes its own coin? That's a good question. This is by Mick. I don't know, but they might. And who knows? Because Elon Musk did say in an interview recently that he has a plan B if he cannot acquire Twitter.
So Elon Musk, he's had problems with the SEC before. Some people think that he's just a stock pumper. In 2018, he came out and said that he was going to sell or take Tesla private for $420 a share. Well, the very next day, he said no, that he wasn't going to do that, and the stock soared. It jumped. Once again, in 2021, just last year, he came out with a poll and asked the people if he should sell, a certain percent of the stake of the company, and everybody said yeah, and he sold it, and the stock dropped. The SEC looked into that, and they actually sued him for that. They're saying they're telling him that he needs to quit tweeting about investments that he's involved in. Obviously, he's not going to stop. I mean, just like with Doge last year, he pumped Doge from, it was like 9 cents, and he pumped it up to 71 cents until the day that Saturday Night Live came on, and then his mom dogged the coin and it dropped.
Right. Yeah, everybody was upset about that.
Yeah, at first, everybody over at Twitter was excited for Elon Musk to join and be part of the team until he came out with the tweets, and he also said is Twitter dead? He came out and he said not very many people use Twitter anymore. Last year, well, actually, for the past 4 years, the number one account on Twitter was actually Donald Trump. So now that he's gone, Musk is pretty much saying, is Twitter dead because it's not being used as much? The stars, people, the main accounts, the high accounts barely get posted on anymore.
Yeah, you're right. And the only reason I interact on Twitter is because that is where you get most of this information for crypto. That's where everybody's at for crypto. It's the easiest way to share is on Twitter. But most anything else, there's nothing. It doesn't matter how popular that thing is. Almost nothing on Twitter.
Yeah, but I do believe that poison pill that they enacted yesterday, I believe that that's a good thing for their company, to keep one person from buying everything. And not only that it was that Elon Musk was the highest, shareholder in that company until yesterday, whenever Vanguard actually bought a little bit more than him. They bought 10.6%, I believe, of the company's value. Haven't heard anything. They have not discussed anything about it. Vanguard hasn't.
Yeah. And the board members, when he offered, what was it? You said $46 billion when they offered that. He
43.
43. One of the board members said that he refuses, that he doesn't accept that offer, although it would have been really higher than what the stock price is currently sitting. So
Yeah,
there
yeah,
seems to be another concern as to somebody taking one of these social media platforms and making it private.
yeah.
And I think it's because
Well,
they're being harder to control.
yeah. Well, Elon came out and he said that he believes in Twitter because of the free speech, and it's such a mega platform now. Well, obviously not. See, he contradicts his words. It's such a big platform that it's easier to reach people. But then a week before he tweets, "Is Twitter dead?" Like, he's kind of confusing.
He is, because he even did the same thing with Bitcoin. If you remember, he was accepting Bitcoin for Tesla. He was a Bitcoin supporter, bought a bunch of Bitcoin, and then he said Bitcoin's bad for the environment. We're not accepting Bitcoin anymore. And then they stopped it,
Yep.
and now they have worked. Now they're partnering up with Blockstream to make solar mines and our solar panel farms in Texas to mine Bitcoin. Tesla.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember whenever he came out and said that, and that's probably about at the height of Bitcoin last year, whenever it
Mm-hmm.
was around $60,000 a share. And see, it's just crazy how one. And our next story is going to get into that also. It's just crazy how one person can influence the stock market so much. One
Yeah.
person can make some people so much money or break so many people.
100%. I mean, whales have a huge influence, which is, getting back to the whole regulation thing. Maybe regulations aren't bad in that way. But what's the next story that you were going to cover?
The next story I was going to cover was how Deutsche Bank from Germany downgraded Rite Aid's price target to $1 a share. Okay, over the past 4 months, Rite Aid has fell almost 50% on their shares. This guy came out and he said that there's no way that they're going to be able to keep operations running because they're not making enough money. Well, the day that he said that, the stock actually dropped more than 30%. Right after it dropped and that article came out, an hour and a half later, it went from 30% down to about 8% down. And then over the next couple days, it grew even higher. But the thing is that guy came out and said that about a week before Rite Aid's earnings. I believe that was a way for them to try to buy up shares on the dip to where they can unload them right before earnings. Because whenever Rite Aid announced earnings, they announced it pre-market on Thursday. The stock went from $7 and some change to over $9 and some change in pre-market. By the time the market opened, it was only up about 2 or 3%, and then throughout the day it dropped. I believe that was a wholehearted pump and dump. Rite Aid, their earnings, it came out, they weren't that great. They're talking about closing over 140 non-profitable stores, but their outlook for next year looks very good. Now, keep in mind that this Deutsche Bank, the one who gave them the $1 price target, they also came out and said that they believe that the U.S. will be in a recession in 2023. I don't know if we should believe that Deutsche Bank. I really haven't heard of them, but they are pretty established. They've been around since 1869, and they're the 26th largest bank in the world.
Yeah, we got a comment here. A question. What happens to Apple after earnings on the 28th? 200 or 130? What do you think?
I'm just I'm a proponent of buy the rumor, sell the news. I'm holding every time I've ever held through an earnings report, it's dumped. You'll find those. It's almost like as if I feel Like it's a lose-lose type situation. I don't know. Holding through earnings is a very risky thing because of the stock market having that mentality of buy the rumor, sell the news. So I would say 130 on Apple after earnings. What about you?
Dude, I don't know anything about this stuff. By the way, this isn't financial. I would say if I'm just going to take a shot in the dark here. I do know that the whole buy the rumor, sell the news thing is very true. It's true in the crypto world. You see jumps at it, and once the big rumor comes out, there's a bunch of coins talking about partnering up with X, Y, and Z company. They never come to fruition. Coin pumps, and then once the news is released, it dies. So I would say that probably it's going to drop. I don't know what price point it'll drop to, but I'm going to say it's going to be lower than where it's at.
Yep, and I just said 130 because he said 200 or 130. 130 is lower, so.
Yep, for sure. So, yeah, but this is pretty much what the new MOT money is going to be about, guys. These are the topics that we're going to cover for today. I appreciate everybody coming in. We got some questions in here. Everybody that showed up on TikTok, much appreciated. That's why I have my phone out. I'm showing both of us right now on my phone. I can't stream TikTok on StreamYard yet. Maybe someday they'll make it so it is interoperable, but at the moment it is not. So I want to thank everybody for showing up. James, it was a great first show that we had.
Luis,
Saturday, man.
Thank you for the opportunity to let me join the team. I think that we're gonna have a good future together. Bull crapping back and forth about stocks and crypto. I just got to learn a little bit more about crypto and get up on your level, and then I think our conversation on that would be a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. So that is it for MOT Money, which is going to be the name for it moving forward. MOT Money, MOT Crypto, MOT Finance, MOT Flip-Flopping, MOT Money moving forward. So once again, thank you all for showing up. Hit that like button, hit that share button, follow. You guys know what to do. All our other social media platforms are down below. Be sure to check those out. And yeah, guys, much love. Peace.